Wait. So it says recording on mine now.
Okay, so maybe, oh, that's cool that if it gives us both permission. I didn't know it could do that. So otherwise I just send you the clip, but yeah.
Okay.
All
Cool.
right, I'm gonna mute.
Welcome to Loneliness and the Happiness Connection. I'm Agnes Lachlan. Who here would love to dive deeper into what sparks connection? Who here is ready to have more joy in all your relationships? And who wants to have happiness for no reason? You are amazing, and thank you for taking the action steps to be here today. Let us take a deep breath and connect to the love that we are. Let us each ask to receive unconditional love and see it pour into every cell in our body like a waterfall. What power is the happiness in your life? And what was the happiest day of your life? And what was the primary emotion you felt at that time? Share your happiest time and what emotion you felt. Why do we not feel this way all the time? What gets in our way? This is my story about how pain pushed me to make changes that resulted in me being here now. I love my life. I am a former nurse practitioner with a master's degree in nursing. I'm a Theta Healing instructor, emotional healer, Life Mastery Institute coach, and higher brain living facilitator, but it has not always been happiness unlimited for me. Just before my 8th birthday, I was sent to live in an orphanage with my 2 siblings. My lonely life became even lonelier. In spite of being surrounded by many children, I felt little connection or desire to play. Many of the children were in emotional turmoil that I had little understanding of. I found solace, though, in a library of books. Fairy tales caught my attention. Here was a magical way for me to connect to a fantasy reality of beautiful young girls with challenges and opportunities. I was enchanted. Life was full of adventures that always ended happily. Later, the fairy tales were replaced by stories of Nancy Drew and Sherry Ames Nurse. I did not relate to the lives of the nuns around me. I vowed to myself that I would never become a nun. Life was too much of an adventure to enter convent for the rest of my life. When I was in my 40s, it seemed like I had no friends, and relationship was just something that happened or did not. I was married, I had 2 children, I had no health or other real issues. Why was I not feeling connected to my life and others? In fact, it took me a number of years to realize my life was off track. I call it going through the busyness and motions of life without a deep connection to love in myself. I would go through the busyness of life, caring for a husband, children, working a job, cooking, cleaning, social outings, on autopilot. One day I woke up from the sleepwalk when a visiting stranger was the occasion for me to examine what I really wanted in life. It was painful at first. I cried. I was determined also. I said that love was the only thing that mattered. I read a book recommended by a friend, Power versus force, which helped me to feel that deep joy and connection were possible. The changes did not happen overnight, but gradually over the next 2 years. What changed was me. I so wanted to feel that connection to myself as love. I asked for it in meditation. I released my emotional baggage about my beliefs and about who I am and what is possible. And I received and learned healing modalities that changed my life. I began to live my life with purpose and passion, and I attracted these amazing relationships. My relationship with myself changed. And my husband and I are still married for many years despite past hurts. I feel deep joy and deep gratitude in every aspect of my life. And that is why I love to support you in connecting to that inner power to have more of the joy, feeling happy, radiant that life offers. Loneliness often leaves clues or signs. Some of the most common clues are busyness, procrastination, and health challenges. In fact, Dr. Lisa Rankin says loneliness is the most common cause of health-related issues, especially depression, heart disease, and many others. According to Cigna Global Health, 61% of Americans reported feeling lonely sometimes or always. And this was in 2018. And since COVID, this percent has gone as high as 66% and maybe higher. Disconnect is prevalent in all segments of society. In fact, it does not matter if you are married, young, or over 50. According to AARP statistics, 28% of those in the first year of marriage report feeling lonely, and also 28% of those married 20 years or more voice this feeling of loneliness. Loneliness locks up happiness. Let us look for a moment at Kate Spade, who committed suicide at the age of 55, much to the disbelief of her friends and family. I believe there is a part of Kate Spade in all of us. According to Kate's sister, Kate had a history of bipolar disorder, which results in periods of severe depression, followed by periods of manic excitement. Kate left this life with a husband and a daughter, who were both present the day she died. Comments from those who knew Kate ranged from shock to disbelief. The reason I mention Kate is that we often make assumptions of those we know based on outward barometers of success without really knowing what they're dealing with on the inside. According to the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, published in 2018, there were 27,394 gunshot homicides in the U.S. and 44,955 suicides. This was from 2015 to 16. So your chances of dying from a gun by homicide are 4 in 10, while 6 in 10 deaths from guns are actually suicides. 1 in 10 is depressed, and 1 in 10 is addicted to alcohol or drugs. So there are 3 common ways that we have a lack of connection. Those are connection to ourselves, in relationships, and in meaningful work, and nature itself. We are social beings, and we are wired since our species began to operate and connect in social settings for our survival. What is connection to the self? Connection to the self is about our thoughts and beliefs. What are your thoughts predominantly about? Awareness is an important part of healing. And the subconscious mind is said to control 88% of the conscious mind. These programs and beliefs are meant to protect us. They often prevent us from making changes to our lives that would empower us. How would a person know if she has a limiting belief? Guess what? We all have them. What are your thoughts predominantly about? Most of the beliefs are from our childhood, parents, grandparents, and ancestors. They are found through muscle testing. In fact, they say that we have an average of 60,000 thoughts per day. 95% of these thoughts are the same, and 80% are mostly negative. We can demonstrate through muscle testing that a negative thought actually weakens your body. Therese was a divorced woman about 50 years old. She found new love and planned to be married. The wedding was canceled by her fiancé. She really felt rejected and spiraled into feelings of depression and even thoughts of suicide. However, she pulled herself out of this feeling by seeking ways to empower herself to heal. We met at a hypnosis conference. Yes, she was a hypnotherapist. She shared about what had helped her. She felt more connected to herself, and I worked with her on more self-love. Creating self-love is powerful. I have a free theta healing meditation on my website to create more self-love. I also love Louise Hay's strategy. Whenever you look in a mirror, say, I love myself. Say it often. Even if you do not feel it to be true, you are actually reprogramming your subconscious mind through repetition. The second way we disconnect is in relationships. Relationships are the only way we personally grow. Life without relationship is meaningless. Even though we are concentrated in cities with many people in close proximity, how many of us truly speak to our neighbors? Connections through emails and cell phone texts leave much out of human connection. A large part of human conversation is related to body language and tones and inflections. Conversation is about expressing our true feelings and desires without fear of judgment. Our expectations in relationships have changed considerably in the last 100 years. Esther Perel, a relationship coach and psychotherapist, says that our expectations in marriage have changed and skyrocketed in the last 100 years. Marriage used to be just an economic relationship for the purpose of producing heirs and the management and transfer of money. Now, we believe that happiness comes from finding the right partner to meet all our needs. Our expectations for this partner are often so expansive that it would take a plethora of people to meet all of these needs. And we are so easily disappointed and give our creative power away to someone outside of ourselves. Developing ourselves creatively without blame or seeing ourselves as the victim of circumstances is always possible. My suggestion for better relationships is to focus on creating face-to-face, meaningful conversations. Speak to strangers. Join or organize groups that give you a sense of value and belonging. This is not the internet, but it can be a starting point. Learn more about your neighbors, fellow church members, coworkers, volunteer places. I have recently taken up the habit of calling new connections on the phone and asking them to share about themselves. Another way we disconnect is in lack of meaningful work. Work gives meaning and value to our life. Johan Hari says when we feel we have a meaningful impact at work, we feel part of the creative process. We have more purpose and meaning in our lives through work then. Often because of modern ways of doing business, jobs are fragmented into repetitive patterns without meaningful human interaction. Hence the term job burnout. Only about 13% of workers report having jobs they find meaningful. On the other hand, small businesses are generating a larger and larger part of our economy. Meaningful work means we feel that we have a say in how work is done and how we feel valued. Feeling that we have control over some aspects of our work generates satisfaction and value for us. This is also about feeling encouraged and increasing our creativity. So a suggested solution, connect to a friend or mentor to help you see value in whatever you do and learn to value yourself. And listen to my meditation on my YouTube channel on feeling my value and believing in my worth. Spend time with those who encourage and uplift you. Find support outside of the conventional job and maybe create new ways to generate wealth. Shark Tank is popular for a reason. I love sharing happiness habits. Invite me to share with your audience some of my 21 interactive practices to generate more happiness. Thank you.
And give testimonials, or if I can send them